So in this video, we're going to go over the exact optimization tactics we use at my Google Ads agency to optimize brand new Performance Max campaigns from month 1 to 3. Now, there's not a huge amount of content out there, but I have been using Performance Max campaigns since their inception about 2.5 years ago. And this is the exact tactics we use at my agency in order to improve campaigns. Now, a huge amount of my content goes over the account build and what you can do in order to make a high quality, high performing Performance Max campaign. But what do you do from month 1 to 3 after it's actually live? But I'm going to summarize it in this video. So in the link in the descriptions, you're going to have a link to this here, which shows this visualization of what we do. But I'm also going to have this more detailed brief about what we do in each month. And I'm going to go over it in this video too. But let's summarize what we do in the months. So month 1 is the learning phase. And this is the learning phase because we have a brand new PMax campaign. And PMax campaigns are a campaign type like no other. Okay, they require a huge amount of data and they are very sensitive to changes. So in order to get that data, we need to go through a learning phase so our bidding strategy can optimize correctly. So in this month, we don't do too much. We pretty much just monitor performance and we start to create our hypothesis of what we're going to do in month 2. Month 2 is our testing phase. Now, the reason we have it in month 2 is because we need to have data-backed optimization decisions. We need to have conversions behind our optimization decisions because optimizing for conversions is the only thing we should be optimizing for, because that is the only thing we care about for our campaigns. My clients are e-commerce clients and they generate sales through their websites. The number one priority to them is purchases on their websites. So that is what I'm going to make my decisions on. I'm not going to make it on anything else. I'm going to make it purely on conversions. So that's where we start these tests. So there's a few tests I'm going to include in this which we actually run. It's all to do with our audience signal testing pretty much. That's the only sort of tests I run. And then from that, we've sort of gained an idea of what performs well, what resonates well with PMax in my account. Because I worked on hundreds of Google Ads accounts now, and I must say that PMax responds differently to every single one of them. So the reason we have to go through a testing phase is because we need to find our winning formula in this month. And then once we find that, we then need to scale it with further incremental improvements to that winning formula. Because then, once our campaign is up and running, once we've got to the absolute optimum performance it can be, you don't have to do too much else. It really runs itself. And that's why I love Performance Max campaigns. They take a while to get there. Once they're there, they're a steam train that cannot be stopped. And they only need gentle optimizations in order to maintain this performance. But it takes a little while to get there, a 3-month process to get there typically. Okay, so let's run through it in a bit more detail. So month 1, the learning phase. So the hard work was done in our account build, but now we need as much data as possible before we can make data-driven decisions. So the first thing I do is add a PMax script into my account, into my client's account. The reason for this is with a PMax script, it gives me a bit more data. I can see the level of spend going to shopping, going to video, going to search, and I can also look at my top performing product performance like this. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I like to have that in there because it helps me with my decision-making process. So first of all, add a PMax script for additional data that we can't get in the Google Ads platform. Then we're going to start with no target ROAS on our campaign. The reason we do this is because we need to have maximum amount of data go into our campaign. And if we have a TROAS on there, it's going to restrict that. And first of all, how can you put a target ROAS on the campaign which you don't know its natural performance? Typically, I like to have around £500 worth of spend in a PMax campaign before I will put a TROAS on it. But if that's quite a lot of your monthly spend, typically just go off 20% of your monthly spend for that specific campaign. Not the whole campaign, for your specific campaign based on your budget split. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to monitor 3 areas. So we're going to monitor asset group performance, we're going to monitor the insights tab, and we're going to monitor product performance. As we say, the key here is monitor. We're not actually going to do anything because what we're going to do is start to gather hypotheses for testing in month 2. Okay, what we're doing in this one is we're monitoring asset group performance to gain an insight into which one is resonating best with our users, which one is performing the best here. Because then we could potentially expand these ones out into their own campaigns to have their own daily budgets to have more specific ad extensions. Next thing we're going to do is monitor the Insights tab, because from the Insights tab, we are going to be harvesting search themes. So we're going to be increasingly progressing the search terms we have for our audience signal. And then we're going to be taking out non-relevant audiences out of our audience signals that are not indexed or not having a big share of our conversion volume or value, because we really want to concentrate the signals we give this campaign to the highest performers. So that's why we do that there. So month 2, the testing phase. Now we have data, we have a month of data. It's not a huge amount, we still want some more, but we can start to form hypotheses which we want to go on to test. We now have enough data, we can perform some tests, because as I said, PMax responds differently in every single Google Ads account I worked in. So it is essential to test, because you need to find out what resonates with your account the best, and you need to find your winning formula, is what I like to call it. And then once you find a winning formula, you then scale it in month 3. But there's a few things we need to do in this stage here. First thing, we're going to review our PMax script. Like I said, where is the spend going naturally? Can we make up with that with additional dedicated campaigns? So say, for example, in this PMax script, we're getting a huge amount of spend going to shopping, which is ideal. I work with ecom brands. The best ROI is in shopping, but maybe I need to make up for this and test some search campaigns. So this is saying to me, okay, PMax has got shopping covered, but maybe I need to make up with some search campaigns. Maybe that's where I need to do some other testing. So that's what it shows to me there. Next thing we're going to do, like I said, we are monitoring our Insights tab in month 1, but now we can review our Insights tab. We can actually add in new search themes and add in new audiences or take out non-relevant audiences. Then we're going to be reviewing our asset group performance. Are there certain asset groups taking up significant levels of spend that could be in our own PMax? So significant levels of spend, significant levels of conversions. So let's go to this campaign here. And the best way to review this is when you're in your campaign here, you want to go to asset groups, and then when you're in here, it will take you to this by default, but we want to go from summary to table. Once we're in a table, we can see the performance of our asset groups. If you don't have this view, you basically just need to add in a few more columns into here to get the metrics you want to see to make your data-driven decisions. And then I'm going to filter down by conversions. And what I'm seeing immediately is these top 2 asset groups are taking the highest level of spend and also generating the highest level of conversions at a reasonable ROAS. The target ROAS for this client is 4.5. So one is just over 4 and one's at a 3.4, but they've got even levels of conversions. So what this is showing to me is potentially I want to segment these out into their own campaigns, because then we can have their own daily budget going to these 2 asset groups rather than spread across these ones. And these ones can have their own campaign with their own daily budget where they can get more of a chance to maybe generate some conversions. Or maybe we want to reduce the daily spend there because they're just not generating the ROI that these 2 asset groups are doing in the first place. That's the sort of thinking process that's going through my mind when we optimize. Next thing we want to do is to actually begin some testing. And what I'm mainly testing here is audiences. So the 3 things I recommend you to test are a feed-only asset group. So what that means is going to this asset group here and just taking out all of the assets we have in there. So we want to limit it only to 3 headlines, 1 long headline, 1 description, no audience signal, no search themes. We want it to be bare. And the reason you do this is so you can encourage the campaign to go to shopping as much as possible. Because if you have full assets in terms of ad copy, in terms of images, in terms of videos, it's going to be going to search, it's going to be going to display, it's going to be going to video. But the whole premises, the whole objective of a feed-only asset group is to encourage the campaign to spend in shopping. The next one to test is using no audience signal at all. And what we're basically doing here is we're trying to get it to run off the Google Merchant Center data. Okay, this is actually quite good data as well, and it's one you should test before writing it off. The next one we want to do, and the final one I recommend you to do, is to test only customer data in the audience signal. And this is basically our customer match lists. It is our previous purchases of our specific product or previous purchases of our brand in general. It's the highest level of data we can give to Google to tailor the algorithm on the type of users we want to target on Google Ads. Next thing I'm going to do is review product performance. Are there products that could be further optimized in the Google Merchant Center, or are there products worth excluding? Now, in Google Ads, we don't need to advertise all of our products. In fact, we want to concentrate our ad spend to our highest yielding products or SKUs. And this is because if we spread ourselves too thin, if we advertise every single product we have, that just sometimes won't be sustainable. If you want to improve your ROAS, sometimes you need to concentrate your ad spend down into your top performers, and you will just see your ROAS increase like that. And then in month 3, so month 3 is a scaling phase. We've sort of gained an idea of these tests, which one works the best. Was it just originally without these tests, or was there a specific test in here that worked the best? Maybe the feed only works really well, but we're going to scrap off these two and just run with the feed only. Okay, that's the sort of idea we want to go from here. So what we've done in month 2 is we've cast our net wide in the testing phase, but now we want to refine it down and double down on our winners. Like I said, it's similar to the product performance. We don't need to advertise every single one of our products, but we need to test the products in order to find out the ones which resonate the best with Google Ads, which ones which resonate the best on Google Shopping for our users. So what we're going to do is review our test, which ones perform the best. Then we're going to pause our low performing tests and we're going to scale our high performing tests across campaigns. Then what we're basically doing at this stage is we're going to make further incremental tests to our winning formula that we have identified. So the testing doesn't stop, but the significance of the testing does. We have our winning formula written down, but we need to further refine it and further improve it. And that's how you get incremental improvements to ROAS. Okay, so overall, that is the optimizations we do in month 1 to 3. Now, unfortunately, there's not a specific checklist I can give you, but this gives you the foundations of what you need to do here. So as I said, this one will be in the link in the description. So will this here, which also contains all of the other frameworks I made on YouTube. But if you're an e-commerce client and you'd rather us just do the work for you, then please get in contact. The link in the description goes to my website. And what you can do is schedule a call with me. We'll go over a strategy of your current performance and how we can improve that. And if we're a good fit together, then we can work together. But that will be linked in the description. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. And thank you. I'll see you on the next.